Well, hello there. Welcome to Adventure in Art. My name is Ben Staley, and this is my little corner of the YouTube verse. I am your resident talking head. 2023 is a few days from wrapping up, and what a year. I started doing this last year, so I'm doing it again this year. Maybe I'll do it again next year if I'm provided the opportunity. But I want to just kind of look back at the year and share some of my favorite photographs. Do I think they're the best photographs? No, it's not about best. For me, it's about these are the photographs that are the most memorable to me. And for me, that's what photography is really about. It's about making memories. And yes, at the end of it, you have a photograph to kind of commemorate that. But it's the memory and the experience and the connections that you make and the things that you learn and how you grow. And it's the experience that is the real gift that you take away from all that. I should have thought about this a little more before I just dove in here this morning. You get the drift. You guys know what I'm all about here. 2023, it was a pretty awesome year, but honestly, super tough, and it's not over yet. But I had professionally, like a lot of people in my business or around creatively, I had the worst professional year I've ever had. It was a disaster. I barely worked. So that's tough. That's tough. On the other hand, had some super epic, amazing things happen. Things that are still gestating and happening. I'm hopeful. I'm looking forward to the future. But, I need to change some things, and some things have changed, and some things are going to continue to change, and that's okay. Change is scary, and it's difficult. But it's necessary. We don't want to stay put. We don't want to stay stagnant. We don't want to stay doing the same thing. And the life of an artist is an uncertain life. I guess if you want a certain life, you should get that 9-to-5 job. And you should prepare yourself, and you can wake up every day and you can know what to expect, and you can know how much money is going to show up in the mailbox. You can know what you need to do. I didn't choose that kind of life, and I'm okay with that. So 2023 was a tough one. I'm hoping 2024 is going to be better, and I'm taking steps to make sure that it will be. I'm hopeful. I'm looking forward. I think I've said that. Let's look at some pictures. Let's just get into this. Got my little laptop here, and I've prepared some photos. Let's see here. Today, as I'm recording this, you're probably going to see this tomorrow. Today's the 26th of December, the day after Christmas. Last year on the day after Christmas, just like the year before that, I flew to Alaska to help make this kind of silly TV show called Deadliest Catch. And so that's where I spent only the first couple weeks. It wasn't a long job, but I flew right up to Anchorage, flew out to Dutch Harbor, went right out to sea right away at the beginning of the year. I was, I think, out at sea before the year even ended. So that was the first thing that I was doing creatively, photographically. It was a very tough trip. I should have read the tea leaves, in a lot of ways. It sort of signaled what was to come for the rest of the year, but that was a tough trip. I was happy to leave and happy to go home. I don't really think I'm ever going back up there to do that again. But I was out at sea, and being that it was January, got into some good weather. And so I'm going to start off this little slideshow with a photo from that. This is a photo that was taken out on the deck of a boat one night, probably 2-3 a.m., going through a snow squall and some pretty good weather, pretty good waves, big, fat, plump, juicy snowflakes coming down all around, catching the LED lights on top of the wheelhouse. I really like this photo. I think it sort of sums up the experience out there really nicely. Shot this with the M11 that I was using at the time, 50mm lens. Here's a color version, which I like, although I think I much prefer the black and white. This is Linda Greenlaw. She was out at sea with me. She was part of the crew of the boat that I was on. Linda is a bona fide legend, and I'm proud to call her a friend, and I really like this portrait of Linda, just smiling. She's got such a great personality. If you don't know who Linda Greenlaw is, you might not. She's written a bunch of books, but maybe you should seek out a book called The Perfect Storm by Sebastian Junger. Linda Greenlaw is a bona fide legend. Oh yeah, there's a movie about the book too. If you don't want to read the book, you just want to watch the movie. It stars George Clooney. Linda is awesome, and she is legendary, much more legendary than anyone who's ever been on that silly little TV show, Deadliest Catch. So I got back to land sometime in early January. I was pretty beat up. It was a tough trip out to sea. And I do what I always do as soon as I hit land. I just take my camera and I just go out walking, driving, exploring, seeing what I can find, just collecting my thoughts. And I came across this juvenile eagle. This is a bald eagle, although you don't see the bald head. He's young, and they don't get the bald head until they get older. And he was sitting up on this, you can't tell, but it's actually the blade of a tractor, like a bulldozer or a caterpillar, something that's used to move earth. And the eagle was just sitting up there, and he just looked thrashed. He looked kind of like I felt. And if you look closely at the photograph, I mean, he's missing feathers out of his wings, like somebody kicked his ass. He was wet, it was raining lightly. The juvenile eagles, you know, it's a tough world out there amongst the eagles, and they beat each other up and they fight over food. And this guy was young, smaller than the big adult eagles. I just surmised that he probably got his butt kicked by a bigger eagle, and he looked pretty thrashed. Check this out. I got home and I had a couple of these little prints made. There's a close-up detail of his head. I was digging for these this morning, and I thought that I had printed these out a little bigger, but I didn't. But they're on a nice archival kind of rag paper with a matte finish. It looks really nice. I'm going to do a video next about my goals and ambitions and plans for 2024. We'll talk about that then, but one of the things I'm planning on, spoiler alert, is a lot more printing. Okay, let's get back to 2023. What's next? Okay. In February, I photographed Margot Price at her concert in LA. She's just an incredible artist, and I had talked with her manager and was allowed to go film her concert. I got to hang out right in front of the stage for the whole show, and it was really cool. I don't know if this is the best photo I took, but I like it. It's big wide. It was taken with the Q2 that I was using at the time. Yeah, it's just really cool to sit there and photograph a really tremendous artist for about an hour and a half. I like this photo. Well, I strongly suggest that you check out some of Margot's material if you like good music. In fact, go to her, I'll link it below. There's a live performance of her song Lydia on her YouTube page, and it's just incredible. It's incredible. I'm gonna put the link below just because I want you to watch it. When you're done with this, go up to the description, check out that video. This is Paige in my studio. There was a YouTube video on this on my channel, so I'll link that below as well. This is Paige holding some roses. I really like this shot. One of my favorites. And this is my friend Dana with natural light. Shot this with the M11 actually. There is not a video of that shoot, but maybe you've seen some of the photos on my Instagram, in some other videos that I've made. I really love this portrait of Dana. She's one of my favorite people to photograph. She's just rad. got some plans for her in the future, crossing my fingers. This is Trinity. There is a video of my shoot with Trinity, and one of my favorites of the year, actually. She's just an incredible model. This is Trinity in my studio. I'll link that video below. Here's another shot. This is with a strobe attached to the camera. The reason I've selected some of these portrait shoots, portrait photos, is just the emotion that these models really brought to it. And these photos move me. And again, they were very positive experiences, which typically all my shoots are, mostly. But some are more memorable than others. This is my friend Yulia, who I've photographed a whole bunch of times. This is out in the desert, El Mirage, which is one of my favorite places to go. It's a bit of a haul, it's a few hours to get out there. And we went out there in February or March, I think. It was cold. It was really cold. She's braving it in a bodysuit, wearing a wig. Really, really fun session. Really great work. Again, is this the best photo I've taken of the year? I don't know. But the memory, I really like. And this is Nosh. I'll link the video to her shoot below as well. I got to photograph Nosh right before she moved back to the East Coast, and it was a surprise. I didn't know her before the shoot, and she came out to my studio, and we had some laughs. We had just had a great time. And I was going back through my work from the year, and I came across these again, and I hadn't really been thinking about them, but I just really love, again, like I said before, the emotion that she captured and the vulnerability. I really love these photos. In April, I went to Africa. Took a lot of photos in Africa. Again, there is a video on that. I'll link it below. But I was trying to think, what are my favorite photos from Africa? And I think this particular shot of this Nile crocodile, I really love, just because they're so scary. I've been around Nile crocs quite a bit now on a couple of different trips to Africa. I've actually sat on the back of one. I've gotten really close to them, big ones. They are literally dinosaurs. They are so scary. And this last trip, I had the opportunity to just be around them and see them almost every day, and just to take hundreds of photographs of them. And I really cherish that time and that opportunity. I love this photo. Taken with a Panasonic GH6. Camera known for its video capabilities, but definitely gets the job done photographically. It's not so much about the camera you have, folks. It's how you use it. And here's a lion. Big old male lion, battle scarred and old. This is a lion portrait, I guess. Got to photograph quite a few lions. This is a standout image. I just really love the way he's looking at me. And then in June, I went to Alaska with my friend Charlie. Video linked below. Lumix sent me up there to test out one of their new cameras, the G9 II. You probably saw that video. You saw some of the material. This is just a old piece of wooden board, probably was a sign at one time, tacked to a tree on the side of the road. This is literally one of my favorite photos from the entire year. I love this photo. Charlie and I just spent a lot of time, a week really, just driving all over the island, and I took a lot of pictures of the misty, dark roads, and this is definitely one of my favorites. I just love the topography and the windiness of the road and the mist in the air, and it's such a cool place. I hope I get to go back. Such a good memory. Such a tremendous opportunity. Yes, it was a tough year, but some amazing things happened. I don't take that for granted. I'm grateful. There's another eagle. This one's slightly more regal and handsome looking. Although if you look close, there's this, on the left side, there's this feather sticking out of his wing there. Didn't really notice that till I was putting these together. Wonder what the deal is with that single feather sticking out. I love this photo. And here's a misty mountainside on Prince of Wales Island. Another one of my very favorite shots from the year, portrait of my friend Charlie that I spent the week with out on Prince of Wales Island. Charlie's the best. Video linked below. Right when I got back from Alaska, the next weekend was like the 4th of July weekend, so my wife and I went and got a little Airbnb kind of camping situation going on up further down in Southern California, close to San Diego, and it was up on this mountainside. And on the last morning, I got up and it was all misty and foggy, and there were these withered old trees that you could see through the fog on the side of this mountain. And I took these photos. I really like them. Here's a color version. I like the color, but again, I'm probably drawn more to the black and white, the starkness. It's my friend Corey, a couple portraits of her, one of my very favorite shoots with the G9 Mark II and this Lumix Leica Noctron 42.5 1.2 lens. Insane portrait lens. It was on loan to me. I don't have one. I really want one. Please, Lumix, send me that lens. One of my favorite sessions of the year. This is Jenna Grimes. Shot her with the GH6 at the Sepulveda Dam. Again, another one of my very favorite sessions. It just all came together, the light, the location. Jenna was ready to go. She had cool wardrobe. She had the vibe. I love this portrait. Went out to New York in September for the Build Expo for B&H, and they invited me out to do a presentation and to speak, and spent 3-4 days when I wasn't at the expo hiking around New York City with my wife and taking photos in and out of the subways, Central Park. That video is linked below, but this photo is probably my favorite from the trip, and I remember the second I took it, and I remember this guy in front of me and the way I hurriedly drugged my shutter because I wanted a little bit of motion blur. I made this photo very intentionally. This is exactly what I wanted, and I pulled it off. It happened in the moment, you know. You have a split second when this guy's walking in front of me and we're at the right spot in the tunnel, and I love this photo. I don't take a lot of photos like this. I don't have that opportunity, but this is one of my very favorite photos. I would print this. In September, I went over to Chandler Studios, one of my favorite photo video studios in LA, and shot a bunch of friends. This is my friend Jenna West. And this is Katie Reese. I've photographed her before as well. Incredible. Just used the Lumix S52X. It's a 50mm lens. There's a black and white shot of Katie Reese. Love this photo. There's a picture of my wife using these new Nan lights that Nanlite had sent me to test out. They're the same lights I'm using to light me here. But we put her in the studio in front of this kind of glittery background, and really, really cool. Just a good time. I really love this photo, and I love the emotion. I love all the bright colors. Believe it or not, I love color photography, even though most of my personal work is in black and white. Again, it's just about the memory. It's what I love. This is from the same studio, the same session. Again, there's my wife in slightly different wardrobe. I love this photo, and I love the energy of it and the composition and that big cool round window. Awesome. This is Alexis, an actress and a dancer and an athlete. Hadn't met her before. She came out to my studio, and we did a whole bunch of cool stuff, but as it was getting dark, we took a strobe out into the open desert and just filmed her jumping around and got this capture, and I just love this photo. One of my very favorites in a long time. I love the way the sand is kicking up where she jumped, and her amazing hair and the highlights in it. I love this photo. This is my new friend Jackie Ho, who we've been wanting to shoot for a long time, and we finally got to, and we went out to Sepulveda Dam, and she's a martial artist and trains with all these weapons, and we just did some of my very favorite photos again. This is her in a samurai sword. Wow, I love this photo so much. This is Morgan, pretty recently, just a month ago, at my studio with a strobe. She brought this cool chainmail outfit, did a bunch of portraits. I love this shot. And here's my friend Sai. She's a dancer and a musician, a singer, a guitar player. I've photographed her several times on the channel, maybe just once on the channel, but definitely she's been to my studio. We shoot every couple years. There may be a video of this session coming. I did videotape it, and we did some really cool work. It was only a few weeks ago. I love this photo. A few weeks ago, I photographed one of my favorite bands, again, Dirt Wire, here in North Hollywood. Took a whole bunch of photos. I don't know if this is the best one, but maybe it's my favorite. I just love the way somebody in the audience is sticking their hand up, kind of obscuring the top of the frame, and I like the way the light and the fog is, and Mark's just kind of deep in it with his banjo, and he's half singing. It's not a perfect photo, but I love the emotion of it. Hey, there's Dana again. You saw her early in this video. Sammy's Camera, which is one of the biggest, probably the biggest camera shop in LA. They called me up and asked if they could kind of tail me on a shoot. And so I said, heck yeah. I mean, I don't get that opportunity that often. So they came out, a producer and a camera person, and they followed me around in the LA subways, and I photographed my friend Dana here. And they made a video about it. I'll link it below. It's on their YouTube channel. Pretty cool little video, but I really love this photo. We had such a good time. Spent a couple hours down in the subways in LA. There's KJ at my studio. That video is linked below. Really love this portrait. Love her emotion. There's my wife, Danny. She is seriously into pickleball. She plays in leagues and has a whole bunch of medals. She's like the local pickleball champion. So I had this strobe from Westcott that they lent me to try out so I could do high-speed sync. I think I'm gonna make a video about that. But anyways, I took it out. This is in broad daylight, and I photographed Danny playing some pickleball. Got some pretty cool shots. I was just trying to make some real clean, commercial looking black and white sports shots. I think I pulled it off. Really, really love this shot. There's Ali G. You saw that video recently if you watched the channel. This is one of my all-time favorite portraits in a long time. I really love this portrait. Everything came together. This is everything that I want in a portrait right here. I love this shot. And here is a portrait of Amar from a very recent shoot. You probably saw that video on the channel as well. I really love Amar and the way that the setting sun is casting her shadow onto the wall. I love this composition. I'd never made a shot like that before in my studio, and I'm pretty happy with this. It's a discovery. I like it. That was a pretty successful, pretty fun shoot. Well, that's it, folks. Those are some of my very favorite shots of the year. Thanks for watching. Do I have any words of wisdom for you? No, I don't have a lot of wisdom. I did that work, and I'm proud of it, and I'm happy with it. I don't think about it a lot when it's done. I'm just looking forward to the next thing. I'm looking to do some things I haven't done before. I'm wondering what's coming next. I'm wondering what's out there. I've got some big plans, photographically and otherwise. We'll talk about that in the future. In the meantime, thanks for sharing this half hour or so with me. And I hope your year was a good one. I hope 2024 is even better for you. I think we still have time to get out there and maybe do one or two last shoots. We can still make something. The year is not over. Let's get to it.